Hello, YouTube. Welcome to the live stream. And for the second consecutive game, the Sharks found themselves down 3-0. Except tonight, they could not mount a comeback. In fact, they lost 4-0, did not get on the scoreboard. So we're here to recap a game that, and a scenario, I should say, that is all too familiar. The Sharks playing a good game in the first meeting between two teams, two tough opponents, like Colorado, right? The prior series. Same thing happened. Game 1, Sharks fall in a hole, down 0-2, score the next 6. Win the game, look great, beat the Avs. All right, you play them tight in the first game. Second game of the series, for whatever reason, San Jose got shut out 4-0 to the Avs. Game 1 of this series, last night, feels like 5 nights ago, but last night, go down 3-0. Even down 4-2, you get the final 2 of regulation. You tie it, okay, you lose it in overtime. You play the first games so much tighter, and then these second games against tough teams, it just has fallen apart. And overall, I mean, I think you could sum it up to this. The matchup between San Jose and Las Vegas right now, two teams going in opposite directions. The Golden Knights are feeling it. They've won 6 straight. They've got 16 wins on the season, 16-4-1. And crazy enough, when you look at their points total among the top teams in the league, I think at halfway through tonight with everything else going on, I think they were only like the 6th best points team in the league at 16-4-1. Now 33 points, that's only 6th best in the league. And on the flip side, the Sharks have now dropped 5 of their last 6. Scoring goals has come and gone. I think about the St. Louis game where they got 6, the first Avs game where they got 6, then shut out. Then last night, 4 goals again. You know, frequently enough to win you a game. Tonight, no goals again. Shut out for the second time in the last 3 games on this evening. And so a handful of things to discuss here. I'll hit the 10-minute timer. You guys know that I love being here. I love doing this with you. And I love it too much, actually. I will go way longer than I actually should if I do not set that timer and try and stick to it. So let's get to some of the topics of tonight's game. And I think that watching Las Vegas head-to-head for the first time in these back-to-back situations, like they're a team that can start plays, but they're also a team that just has finish. And whether it's Stone or Marchessault or Alex Tuck tonight had 2 goals, Riley Smith, Pacioretty last night had a pair of goals. There's always a different name that beats you, which speaks to the depth of their team. But their players just, you know, it's like the Sharks find themselves in similar scoring situations but don't always bury it. And Las Vegas this year, and I want to say in prior years too, but especially right now, I'm noticing that contrast. They make the most of their opportunities. They make the opponents pay. And the Sharks have not necessarily done that. Now, I'm not also going to take away from Marc-Andre Fleury. But you look at San Jose's shots by period, 8, 9, and 6. And I just don't know if that is testing your opponent goalie enough. Granted, we can go back a step from that. All right, so are you possessing the puck enough? Are you creating enough chances? And not just chances, but we need to talk about grade A opportunities. There were a handful of good looks tonight. I would have to say the best one was actually when Curtis Gabriel in the first period found Yoel Shellman. Was it the final couple minutes of the first? 1-on-none. Couldn't bury it. But yeah, I mean, the Golden Knights in the first period alone had 14 shots, which is basically what the Sharks did in the final 40 minutes total. So not only getting chances for San Jose, but getting quality scoring chances. I also realize this is a team in present times that is missing Tomas Hertl for a couple more, and I obviously wish him the best, and now missing Timo Meier, lower body injury into tonight's game. We're told it's day-to-day, but let's be honest. I'm not going to make the excuse and say that those two players and their absence tonight was the difference of winning or losing. It's just a team game. Las Vegas looked that good. The Sharks couldn't match. So I'm not here to make excuses. I'm not here to paint that picture at all. But I'm here to say that, yeah, when you're a team that's missing two of your top forwards, it is going to make a difference. That being said, you got to find a way to win in situations like this. Las Vegas scored first, 12-0-1 when they score first. And I know this was mentioned multiple times by Randy Hahn on the broadcast. I think it's also interesting that every game this season that they have held a lead entering the third period, they've won all of them. So I talk about finish in a scoring sense, but that's a team that knows how to dictate a game and also finish a game with the right result. So let's stop here on the game for just a second. By the way, I guess one more thing on it. I did, as much as it was 2 losses in the last, 27, 28 hours, I enjoyed the hype entering this weekend. I also really like the Sharks reverse retro jerseys. Side note, I know that has nothing to do with the final score, but yeah, I mean, I guess when you see the Sharks lining up against, the Avs, maybe there's not that same tension there. Same thing with the Ducks or the Kings anymore. There's not that same tension anymore, but inherently there lives some bad blood between Las Vegas and San Jose. So, all right, I'll leave that alone for a second. What I really want to focus in on is this homestand. Now, we know the Sharks had the road heavy start to the season. By the way, they're 22 games in. So 6 more, and you're at the precise halfway point of this shortened 56-game schedule. But they were supposed to play 8 in a row at home, a season-long homestand. Turns out it's going to be 7. One of them had to get pushed back due to Tomas Hertl being put on the COVID list. So a 7-game homestand with 1 more against St. Louis on Monday. Right now, 1-4-1. Now, there's there's 2 ways to look at this. Easiest way to say it. Don't go for the hard way to say it, Brody. Go for the easy way to say it. It's a double-edged sword, right? Because you are getting this first extended time period at home. It's getting late. But on the flip side, look at the teams you've been playing at home. St. Louis twice, Colorado twice, Las Vegas twice. And I think there was a Minnesota game that was added in there. It has not been easy by any means in terms of the opponents. But I'm also hating to think that this is the turning point of the Sharks season in a negative variety. Getting 3 points in 6 games, with 1 win and the overtime loss last night, it's, this is digging a hole a little bit. And granted, I fully see who they're playing, and I see some of the hard-fought games, and unfortunately, I see also results like tonight. I hate to look back and think that this is that negative turning point that I did not really want to see coming. I also want to throw this out there. Erik Karlsson, since coming back after missing 4 games with the groin injury, he's looked fresh. He's looked mobile. I think the word spry was used in the post-game press conference with Bob Bugner, and he agrees. And I think you can see him moving better, him moving the puck better, him moving north-south on the ice better. So that is definitely encouraging. I made a video about this the other day. All the conversation and criticism surrounding EK65 so far this season. And I wasn't there to rip him, certainly. I wasn't there to also make this a complete, defense video too. I know it's been a frustrating season for him and the team with him personally, but I just kind of wanted to see him establish something here in the rest of this campaign. And quite honestly, it looks like some steps are being taken in that direction. Another thing too is I mentioned this at the top of this live stream, which, by the way, I'm only going to go a couple more minutes. I'll take a look at the questions and comments in the chat in just a second. So if you have something right now, take it to the chat, and I'll be there in just a short minute. But, to go down 2-0 to the Avs a couple games ago, 3-0 to Las Vegas last night, 3-0 to Las Vegas again tonight, ultimately 4-0 final. I realize you're going against tough teams, but to dig yourself holes early, you're making it near impossible to accomplish these comebacks, which are then required because of it. Am I saying that a 1-0 loss is any better than a 4-0 loss tonight? I mean, in the end, no, it's not. But, there's just something about, being down 2-0 5 minutes into the second, which really makes it an uphill battle the rest of the way. So, 22 games in, Las Vegas scored in every period tonight. And there you have it. I'm going to take a quick glance. Now, wait a second. Is that a real comment right there? This live stream is the best sample user? No, I think that's part of the template here that I use for actual live streaming comments. Still sad seeing Pete DeBoer on the opposite bench. I think it was a mistake letting him go. I think, you look back at last year. Gosh, that was, it feels like 2 years ago. I guess technically it was. It was 2019, December of 19, when the Sharks let Pete DeBoer go. They felt like the team didn't match the results they were getting, and oftentimes in sports, that's the move that has to be made. The coach is usually, and they know this, they absolutely know it's part of the job in the territory, that they could be the first to go, because it's easier to change coaches than to change your entire team if things aren't trending right. I do want to make this comment. For whatever reason, Pete DeBoer, he's never looked like a Vegas guy, but when I see him on the Las Vegas bench now, and the little V pin and the suits he's wearing, he looks like a pit boss. He kind of looks Vegas. I don't know. Personal observation. And I do like Pete. I really do like Pete DeBoer. I think he's a good coach. I think he was good for San Jose. There's nothing personal about his time here or his departure here that would make me think any different. Another one from Moonglow. Beer tonight? Maybe in a minute. Actually, probably more realistically, tomorrow night. Always a big EK65 fan. And you know what? I think that's the sentiment among a lot of people. I'm not taking away the fact that there has been frustration for him or for him individually this year. But it's weird. I made that video yesterday to kind of, segment out where he's been, hopefully where things go. And last night had his first multi-point game of the season and led the way for the Sharks. Ghost Charm, as my timer's about to go off in 3, 2, 1. Bang, bang. Pre-post game has been great this season. Yourself and the boys have been a wonderful presence during these dark times we've all been going through. Keep it up and much love. Ghost Charm. I really appreciate that. To be perfectly honest with you, things are much easier when there are wins to talk about, right? Like the variety of conversation, the upbeat nature of it. But I think it's harder when the team is struggling, because I know we're dealing with failure necessarily, but I also never want to make things overly personal. I don't want to overly criticize anybody when it's not required. I'm not here to throw out hot takes just for the sake of doing that. I think it's important to look at interesting concepts. How did you get here? Why is the team struggling, and how to get out of it? So that's kind of my mentality. And Ghost Charm, I really appreciate you saying that, because all of us, not just myself, but our producer, Jay Scriggs, does the studio show, our game producer, everybody behind the scenes, our analysts, they and we all work so hard to just try and make every show entertaining and interesting at the same time. John, appreciate you being back, and really appreciate you in the super chat. That is very kind of you. Any thoughts on Monday? Well, you got the Blues, and you got Tarasenko for the first time. So remember what I was saying before about how tough this stretch has been? 1-4-1. I'm sure hoping it's 2-4-1. They can get there. But I understand it's not easy. like I said, I knew this part of the schedule was going to be ripe. And that has definitely been the case. And I would also say at this point, approaching the halfway mark of the season, of a shortened season and a condensed season, these guys are playing every other day. Was tonight, the fourth game in 6 nights? It's starting to take, and everybody's going through it, so don't get me wrong, but for a team like the Sharks who need to really push maybe their higher end players more to be able to win a game like this against Las Vegas, you can't make many mistakes. And that actually probably goes, John, to this comment about Monday. Man, I'm all over the place. You're going to have to be near perfect to beat the St. Louis Blues. Not so much to the level of going up against Las Vegas, but you got to play a near perfect game, and to rely on your top players so much game after game in a condensed season and not be able to lengthen the bench out. Instead, you got to shorten it. That will compound the problem of a condensed schedule and fatigue and burning everybody out. CBiz, keep the flow. All right. Well, you know what? Until I feel like I can get a haircut, until the opportunity arises, until basically I'm vaccinated. Yeah, we're going to be rolling with this for a bit. So you might see it through the rest of hockey season. You might see it at the start of baseball season. I wish I had a choice because this hair is getting absolutely annoying. Julio, you know what? I'm glad you brought this up. The simple math for San Jose, 34 games left. The Sharks would have to win 20 to 25 of those to make the playoffs. And I do think, without actually crunching numbers, I do think you're right. I say I'm glad you brought this up because I was thinking about making a future video, probably sometime this week. I'll do a live stream on Sharks playoff math. And I'm saying that because I don't know that you're going to like the numbers. I don't know that anybody's going to like the numbers. In terms of, let's be real here about this. You can kind of see what this little stretch right here, in a 500 start through the first 14, 15 games. And since then, on this homestand, they've definitely, at 8-11-3, you're definitely cutting away from 500, pretty quick. Maverick, you got it. I appreciate you being here. T Sparkman or Sparkman. I have a business email people can use to reach out. Yeah, you know what? How would I give that to you here on YouTube? I can make it simple. Brody.Brazil at NBCUni.com. I don't care. I'll give you my work email address. I mean, you guys can all probably figure it out anyway, so it's not a big deal. And to be honest, I check it maybe once a day. So, Maverick, really want to be optimistic about this season, and I think that's the balance here, right? Like, as part of that playoff video idea that I had, on one hand, if the Sharks can pull off something special, it would be really special. But I think right now the math and considering who the top 3 teams are and that there's only one more playoff spot in the West and that Minnesota and Arizona are going to contend for that greatly and that the Sharks are not right now in that position. So I'm not crossing them off. I also want to make that very clear too. Not crossing anybody off, but it's a matter of being realistic sometimes too and trying to figure out what comes next. Oh, Daniel, how about this? Shout out from New Zealand. Are you really watching me live right now from New Zealand? Because if you are, I geek out on this stuff. That is the coolest thing ever. I love being on, television, regional cable television. That's great. A lot of people watch. But doing this here on YouTube and knowing that I can reach you thousands of miles away across the Pacific in New Zealand, that's pretty special to me. So high quality analytics. I don't know about quality, but I provide some high analytics. That's for sure. Crichton, I hope I'm saying that right. Crichton09 just got my first vaccine shot. I'll be able to attend a live game before you move back to Texas. Oh, you're hoping that you get to do that. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to go. Somebody asked in the live stream the other day my thoughts on maybe fans coming back and that chance. I think the final month of the regular season, so basically from early April to early May, might be that best chance. I know baseball stadiums and outdoor venues are going to get this opportunity to do it. I hope you all realize how much different and difficult it is to pull all that off in an indoor situation. And your hair's never been so long either. Thank you. It works. You know what? I'm actually not mad at the way this looks. It's been more than a year now, going on 13 months of no haircuts. In fact, yeah, actually, today is precisely 13 months without a haircut. I never would let myself get to this point. Never thought I would, but here I am. Jones in net on Monday. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I thought tonight, and Scott Hannon and Drew Remenda agreed. Last night, we were all talking about this on our little text chain. Got to go with Dubnyk again for tonight, right? And they did. Let me say this. Sharks didn't score anything. So Dubnyk could have given up 4. He could have given up 14. You don't score anything. You're obviously not doing anything for the goalie. Sick Buffalo in Ison. I hope I butcher all these, and I'm so sorry about that. I watched YouTube videos and gave myself a haircut. That's classic. That is legendary. Hey, that's the way you learn how to do things here in 2020/21. Notice that EK65 is not playing the penalty kill as much and does look better out there for sure. You know what? I don't know about the breakdown of his time specifically, but I'm just saying watching him skate in open ice, watching him move the puck with the puck, I definitely notice a positive difference. A lot more mobile. So that is going to do it as I find my outro music. I really appreciate everybody being here. And I apologize I'm cutting this off after, 22 minutes. That was pretty respectable, but for me it's time for dinner, and then shortly after that, it's time for bed. So rough times with the Sharks. Got to be honest. Tough opponents, tough results. They've lost 5 of 6. And seeing Las Vegas now winning 6 in a row, they're just going in the absolute right direction. A lot of things are coming together for that team. So, got some more videos coming out this week on the channel. If you're still here, by the way, take a second, give this video a like, make sure you're subscribing to the channel. I will see you again at the very latest on Monday for the Sharks and Blues. Until then, have a great rest of your weekend. Be safe, everybody.